Hello, 8Es, receiving teachers and students. Thank you. You may sit down. All right, 8Es and receiving students. Now, we reminded you that in these two last lessons, we are going to have revision lessons, all right? So in today's lesson, we are going to revise or go through a revision lesson based on directed numbers and indices, all right? So receiving teachers, this lesson will be on basically revision of directed numbers and indices. So in your own time, you can also give revision lessons on other topics that we taught. All right, receiving students, 8Es. Now 8Es, you have two papers on the table. All right, I'd like you quickly, in your group, I'd like you to solve this. Okay, 5 plus -3, okay? Now please, I'll give you a minute. Quickly write down your answer on the piece of paper that I've given you. Receiving students, 5 plus -3. All right, use the paper that I've given you, just one paper for that problem. Okay, have you finished? One paper for that problem, 5 plus -3. You got the marker there, you write it down. All right, have we finished? Receiving students? Okay, once you have finished, I'd like you to put your papers up on the board. Receiving students, you can go up to the board and write your answer. Okay, at this, all the groups, your answers are up here. All right, let's see. Okay, we'll put all the, looks like all the 8s and 2s, huh? So let's put all the 8s on one side. All right, those of you who got 8Es and receiving students, look up here. Those of you who got 8, can you come up and explain your answer or explain how you got 8? Receiving students. Or let's have one group. Okay, if you got your answer as 8, 5 plus -3 is equal to 8. How did you get 8? Okay, anyone? If you got your answer as 8, okay, how did you get 8? Silas, your group? Okay, hands up if you got 8. Hands up. Those of you, if you got 8. Okay, this group here, they got 8. Okay, Philippa, how did you get 8?
We added it and got the sign of the larger number.
Oh, okay. So Philippa, her group, this is what they did. They added 5 plus -3, and then they got the sign of the larger number. You others did the same? Those of you who got 8. Okay, now let's look at those of you who got 2. How did you get 2? Okay, that group over there. Eddie, your group, did you get 2? Okay, can you explain to us, please? Or explain to the class how you got 2?
We subtracted 5 from 3, and then we got the answer, which is 2, and we got the sign of the larger number.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Peter, not Peter, Simon. Okay, why did they subtract? Why subtracting 5 and 3?
When adding a positive number and negative number, we get a sign of the, we subtract and we get a sign of the larger number.
Okay, you others heard that? Yes. And you agree with his answer, his explanation? Okay, 80s and receiving students, when you are adding a positive and a negative number, okay, 5, positive 5 plus -3, okay, what do? You subtract, okay? The rule says you subtract, okay, and then once you subtract, you get your answer, you get the sign of the larger number. So 5 take away 3 is 2. So you have +2, okay? All right, so those of you who got +2, give yourselves a big pat on your shoulder. Okay. Now what about the next one? The next problem here. Receiving students and 80s, you have your papers there, model students. -6 take away -2. Okay, who's finished? Okay, if you're finished, you can put your papers on the board. Receiving students, you can write up your answers on the board. Okay, let's look at our answers here on the... Okay, positive 4. Oh, sorry. Did you make a correction here? Positive 8, we have negative 4. Positive 8, sorry, negative 8. Okay, those of you who got negative 8, hands up if you got negative 8. Receiving students? Okay, this group here got negative 8. Can you tell us how you got negative 8?
We added the two numbers and kept the sign.
Okay, so thank you, Samuel. Samuel said, all right, they added the two numbers. Okay, 6 and 2. All right, 6 plus 2, and you got positive 8. Okay. Okay, group. Okay, yours is this one here. Okay, positive 8. Who got positive 8? Okay, Stephanie, your group. Okay, you want to explain how you got positive 8?
The rule says when subtracting a negative number to a negative number, you add its opposite and get the answer.
Okay. So when subtracting a negative number, you add its opposite. Okay, that's the rule. Okay. So negative 6 plus 2. And you got 8. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Negative 4. How did we get negative 4? Those of us who got, those of you who got negative 4, receiving students, can you explain your answer, please? Yeah, which group is this? Oh, group 8. Which is group 8? Okay, group 8. All right, we'll have group 8 to explain the answer, how they got negative 8.
We use the rule. When adding a negative number and a negative number, you add and keep the sign, but we changed the adding to subtraction. So we used when subtracting a negative and a negative, subtract and keep the sign.
So, okay, thank you. All right. Okay, let's have a look at this. Okay, negative 6 take away negative 2. Negative 6 take away negative 2. All right, the rule, like what this group said, when you are subtracting a negative number, what do? You add its opposite. So if you are subtracting a negative number, you leave the first number, okay, leave it as it is. You add the opposite of this number here. So it will be, okay, plus. So it will be negative 6 plus what? Positive 2. Now what are you going to do now? You are adding a negative and a positive number. So what will you do? Subtract. 6 take away 2 is 4. 6 take away 2 is 4. You get the sign of the larger number. So your answer will be negative 4 or minus 4. Okay? All right. You are going to do an activity using this adding and subtraction of directed numbers, also multiplying and dividing directed numbers. Later we'll go through the rules again. Okay? All right, so those of you who got negative 4, please give a big pat on your shoulder again. Thank you. All right, receiving students and 8Es, I'd like you to go through this activity or this exercise quickly into your books, exercise books. you can discuss these answers, okay? Discuss your answers in your groups. Make sure you go through the rules again when adding and subtracting directed numbers. The next activity will also be on multiplying and dividing directed numbers. So quickly, receiving students and 80s, I'd like you to do this activity. Okay. Please, I'd like you to help your friends if they're not sure with the rules, okay? Discuss your answers amongst your friends. Help each other, please. If you see that your friend is stuck somewhere, please help your friends. Okay, what's the first one? You finished with the first one? Not yet? Vika, what are you doing? Quickly, put those books away, those books there. What are you doing? Okay, you're supposed to be answering that one. Okay, who's finished? Okay, like I said, you work amongst your groups, please. Okay, if you finish with this, then we'll go on to the next part of it. Okay, like I said, multiplication and division. Okay, when you are multiplying directed numbers, you should know the rules when multiplying directed numbers, when multiplying positive numbers, negative numbers, positive and a negative, or negative and a negative. Okay, 8 is and receiving students. We're going to correct our answers now. All right, we'll start off with A. Okay, receiving students. And 8 is, all right, A, 4 plus negative 3 is, what's our answer? Okay, 4 plus negative 3 is equal to 1. Because you're adding a positive and a negative number. When you add a positive and a negative number, you subtract. And you get the sign of the larger number. So it's positive 1. Okay, good. Next one, B. 9 take away negative 6. Okay, the rule says when you are subtracting a negative number, what do? You add its opposites. So that means 9 take away negative 6, you will, add its opposite. So you have to, 9 plus positive 6, so 9 plus 6 is equal to 15. So your answer is positive 15, 15. All right, receiving students? When you subtract a negative number, you add its opposites. Okay, good. Next one. Negative 18 plus 5? Negative 13. 13 take away 5. Your answer, get the sign of the larger number. 80s, are you with me? Okay, good. Receiving students. Next one, D. Negative 10 plus negative 3. Okay, this time you are adding, okay, 2 negative numbers. So when you add numbers with the same signs, okay, what do? You add and you keep the sign. So negative 10 plus negative 3 is negative 13. Okay, receiving students and 80s. Next one, negative 4 take away negative 8. Negative 4 take away negative 8, receiving students, 8 is? Negative 4 take away negative 8. Okay, you are subtracting a negative number. What do? Negative 4, add its opposites. Okay, add its opposites. Negative 4 plus positive 8, you subtract positive 4. Okay. 8 is, the answer to negative 4 take away negative 8 is positive 4. Okay. Okay, this time multiplying a negative and a negative number. Negative 8 times negative 7 is? Okay, the rule says when you're multiplying to a negative and a negative, your answer is always positive. So negative, positive 56. Receiving students, negative 8 times negative 7 is positive 56. Okay, what about G? 14 divided by negative 7. Okay, it's like the opposite of, you're multiplying. Okay, negative 7 times negative 2 will give you positive 14. So 14 divided by negative 7 is negative 2. Receiving students and 80s. H, negative 9 times a positive 6, you're multiplying a negative and a positive number. Your answer will always be negative, negative 54. Negative 9 times 6 is negative 54. Okay. And the last one, negative 28 divided by negative 4. Positive 7. Okay, why positive 7? Why positive 7? Okay, because positive 7 times a negative 4 will give you negative 28. Okay, so the important thing is 80s and receiving students, when adding or subtracting, multiplying or dividing directed numbers, you must know the rules. Okay, you must know the rules. When you know the rules, if you have them in your head, you will just do everything easily. Okay, you will calculate easily. All right, 80s and receiving students. Receiving students, if you didn't complete that, you can, in your own time, you can go through this activity again with your teachers. All right, our key phrase, receiving students and 80s, is revision of directed numbers. All right, before we end our lesson, 80s and receiving students, receiving teachers and students, on behalf of the model teachers and the receiving students, we'd like to thank you for your overwhelming support and contribution, okay, to a successful year. We wish you all the best, receiving students, in your coming exams. And we hope you enjoyed our lessons, or we hope you enjoyed the lessons that were taught, okay? To the receiving teachers, we encourage you to continuously write to us in regards of the lessons that were being taught. And we wish you all the best, and may God bless you all. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, 80s and receiving students, for your participation.